Okay, so we've all done it. A new games console comes out, so we have a look at some of our older games to see which ones we haven't played in a while and that we can sell to get a bit of money to put towards new games. Now, a lot of us do it when we're younger, when we're kids, when we don't have a job, or we come into some difficult times. You know, it can happen to any of us. So this video is really to have a look at the top 5 games that I regret selling or trading in. Starting at number 5, I have Resident Evil 2 for the Nintendo 64. Now, I went straight from the Mega Drive to the Nintendo 64. I completely missed out on the PlayStation and Sega Saturn, so I didn't really get to play any of the games that had full motion video and things like that. And a lot of my friends did talk about the Resident Evil games. I did actually have the first one on PC, but my PC wasn't good enough to run it. It did the intro cutscene and then it crashed. So I'm really sad that I've sold this game. I don't really know why I did it, but it sells for quite a bit now because it's quite a historical thing for the Nintendo 64 because it couldn't do full motion video, so they compressed it and managed to fit it all on a cartridge, and it was a really impressive technical feat. So to buy it now, it's quite expensive, so I'm a bit gutted for that reason, really. At number 4 is Two Crude Dudes on the Mega Drive. Now, this isn't a great game by any means. It's a side-scrolling beat-em-up set in the post-apocalyptic era, so it's sort of very late 80s, early 90s influenced, you know, from movies and stuff. And yeah, it's not brilliant, but I love it anyway. I have loads of great memories of playing it with my dad and with my cousin. I actually have my cousin's version of the game, even though it's the Genesis version and it doesn't have a box or manual. The one that I had was the proper Mega Drive version, so it had the Two Crude Dudes on the front, and it had the box and manual, which, yeah, I unfortunately sold. I'd really like it back, but it goes for quite a bit of money now, sort of £20 upwards, which is a real shame because I really want that back in my collection. Number 3 is Michael Jackson's Moonwalker for the Mega Drive. Now, I'm really sad that I sold this because it was one of the first games I owned on the Mega Drive. That and Sonic 1. When I first got a Mega Drive, when I first found out what one was, got to go to Boots, which is like sells perfumes and beauty products and stuff like that, but they used to have upstairs a computer area where they let you try out games on different consoles. They also used to sell telephones and things like that. But I was a huge fan of Michael Jackson, and I got to try the Michael Jackson game, and I was just like, I really want this. And I got the Mega Drive for my 8th birthday, I think it was, with Sonic 1 and, yeah, Michael Jackson's Moonwalker. I set it up, or my dad set it up on the dining room table. I had a little 14-inch TV and we played it loads. We did it 2-player. It wasn't co-op, you took it in turns, one in a white suit, well, Michael Jackson in a white suit, and one in a red suit. But we still had a lot of fun, and I love it, and I really wish that I had that still, that game. You know, it would have a lot of sentimental value if I had the original still. I don't have a copy of the game in my collection either, but yeah, that's something I really need to sort out. Number 2 is Wonder Boy in Monster World. Now, this game is the first RPG I ever experienced. I had no idea what that genre of games was or were or whatever. It just looked good on the box. The artwork on the front was kind of cartoony and fun. The graphics on the back looked pretty good, and basically I bought it because it was the only game I could afford from the shop at the time. I had some birthday money or pocket money or something. I really wanted to do a Mega Drive game because I'd played all my other ones to death, and yeah, I just thought I'm gonna have a go at this. Now, embarrassingly, I got stuck really early on. I didn't know that you could press up on a doorway to go into a building, and you have to do that and talk to someone for a little sort of platform to appear outside that you can jump up on and go. So I thought, to begin with, is this like a cheap knockoff game, or is it... I just didn't work it out. But when I did, when I stopped being stupid, I played it, I enjoyed it, I absolutely fell in love with that game. I sold it because I was a stupid kid that just wanted some money. I'll explain why I sold so many Mega Drive games a little bit later. But yeah, I really want that back in my collection. It's a great game. I have it on the Xbox 360 because it was like an arcade little collection of 3 games. But it's not the same. I love having all the original sort of cartridges and boxes and manuals. So yeah, that's something I regret selling as well. And at number 1, last but not least, is Streets of Rage 2. Now, as you can see, I have a copy of Streets of Rage 2 here, so you may be thinking, well, why do you regret selling it? Why do you want it in your collection? Well, the thing is, the first Streets of Rage, the first copy of this game, basically, means so much to me. I used to play it all the time with my dad, with my friends. It was the game that I loved the most on the Mega Drive. Now, I mean, this version is a version I got from a shop called Game Station, which existed. I mean, I must have bought this 10 years ago or more for about £3 or something. It's not in great condition. There's a bit of wear on the cartridge and there's no manual. But I mean, I got it at the time for nostalgic value. It's sort of like, I don't think I had an eBay account at the time. But anyway, I'm going off on a random note here. The actual original game that I played with my dad means so much to me. If I had it now, which I know there's no chance of having because there's no way of finding out which copy was mine, where it is or anything, but I would have it framed. It just means so much to me, and I'm absolutely gutted, just so sad that I sold it. Just such an idiot, such an idiot. If I had £1,000 spare, or I've had a large sum of money and someone's like, here is your original one, and it, you know, there was some way of proving it, it just means so much, I would probably buy it. So, was I more stupid for selling it, or am I more stupid now for saying that I'd buy it because of all the sentimental value and nostalgia? But I love Streets of Rage 2, it's probably my favourite game ever. So I wish I had kept my original one that was in mint condition. I also got rid of Streets of Rage 3 as well, just to add to the pain. To buy that back now is like £60, £80, so those of you in America, I mean, yeah, you're looking at $100, $120 plus, so that is ridiculous. I shouldn't have sold that either, but that's what this video is all about. It's games I wish I never sold, my absolute regrets with games that I've sold. So that's my 5. Now I want to hear if you've ever sold or traded in a game that you really wish you hadn't. You can do a top 5, you can do a top 10. I would just love to hear what you thought, whether it's, yeah, I mean, whether you fell on hard times or whether it was just a kid and you just needed money and you did something silly. You know, I had a friend of mine who actually traded in Street Fighter 2, the new Challengers. He traded it in for Shaq Fu, so so that was stupid. He probably regrets that. He definitely did. When we got home, I tried to tell him not to sell it. We were just kids then, but yeah, he sold that. What a fool. So yeah, so I'd really like to know about games that you've sold that you really wish you hadn't, and what they mean to you and stuff like that. I think that's really cool. Just quickly as well, the reason, I mean, most of these are Mega Drive games that are in my list. The reason for that is I learnt from my lesson very soon after. I mean, I traded them in to get Nintendo 64 games. I had to trade in games. I asked which ones were worth a lot of money. The guy told me which ones were worth quite a bit of money, which is why I think I traded in some of the expensive ones that I still liked. But it's because I wanted Super Mario 64, and I still have my copy of Super Mario 64 in the shelf. I should have probably done some editing or cut to it or something, but this is the copy of Super Mario 64 I bought pre-owned. So I still have it. It's still got the manual, the booklet and everything. It's still in great condition. I still have, which was from the very same shop, Diddy Kong Racing, which was a bit beaten up. I remember paying £22 for this. And there you go, it's still actually, yeah. I didn't look first, I promise. I actually remember that from memory. And yeah, it's from somewhere that sold Sega Saturn, PlayStation and Nintendo 64 games. Although it says it's an official PlayStation Center. But anyway, I'm going off on random tangents now. I learnt my lesson. I stopped selling games. I have sold games, like I've sold quite a few Dreamcast ones, or I've lost quite a few Dreamcast ones. I've sold PlayStation 2 games, but I've not sold ones that mean something to me. That is a lesson I have learnt, and so apart from the one Nintendo 64 title, I don't think I've sold any others really, apart from like the odd Xbox one. Like I'd sell Marvel vs. Capcom 2 on the Xbox because I knew it was coming out on the Xbox 360 to download, even though now I prefer physical games. There was some other ones as well. I can't remember what they are at the moment. But anyway, yes. Let me know what your top 5 games are that you regret selling or trading in. I would love to hear them. As always, thanks for watching. If you're new here, please leave a like, comment and subscribe. And I look forward to hearing your feedback and your comments, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video.